Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads. We're going to read Bearenstain Bears' Mad, Mad, Mad Toy Craze. When little bears want the same toys as their friends, they may hook into a craze that just never ends. It was a calm and peaceful afternoon in Bear Country. It was calm and peaceful outside the bear's tree house where the tulips were blooming and the grass was growing. It was calm and peaceful inside the treehouse where Papa Bear was reading the afternoon paper and Mama Bear was checking out the TV schedule. But it was all over for peace and calm when Brother and Sister Bear came tearing home. They rushed up from steps and burst in the living room, and excited and so out of breath they could hardly talk. "Mama, Papa," they gasped. "We need it. We gotta have it. We absolutely gotta." "Now hold everything," said Papa. "Just calm down and tell me what it is you need and absolutely gotta have." "An advance," sputtered Brother. "That's right," gasped Sister. "An advance on our allowance. And if we don't get it, Herb's hobby shop is gonna run out." "Run out of what?" asked Papa. "Why, Beary Bubbies, of course," said Sister. "And what, may I ask, are boony berries, Beary Bubbies, whatever it is you said?" asked Papa. "Beary Bubbies, Papa," said Brother. "They're terrific. They're great. They're fabulous. And they're cute and adorable," said Sister. "Each one is different, has its own name." "Cousin Fred already has 6 of them," said Brother. "Lizzie has 8 and Queenie has 10, said Sister. "Well," said Papa, reaching for his wallet and taking out some money, "far be it from me to deprive my cubs of booby berries." The money and the cubs disappeared so fast you'd have thought it was a magic gag. "Well," said bewildered Papa, "what do you suppose that was about?" "Come to think of it," said Mama, "I did see a sign on Herb's hobby shop's window. It said, 'We have Beary Bubbies.' I didn't think much about it, but I suppose that was the cubs are talking about." "Talking about is putting it mildly," said Papa. "They were flipping out about it. They were through the roof about it," he said. "It's just amazing to me," he said. He went to his paper, "how otherwise sensible cubs can be pulled into any silly thing that comes along." "I suppose," said Mama, and she went back to the TV schedule. The cubs ran all the way to Herb's hobby shop, holding the precious Beary Bubby money in their hot little hands. And lucky they were. They got in time to buy the last 3 Beary Bubbies in the store. "When do you expect more?" asked Brother. "I can't say," said Herb. I can't even get him on the phone. It's busy 24 hours a day." Though it was true that Cousin Fred had 6, Lizzie had 8, and Queenie had 10 Beary Bubbies, while Brother and Sister only had 3, the ones they had were really cute. Each one was different from the other, and each one had its own name. Back home, Sister said, "We'd like to introduce our Beary Bubbies. This one is Ziggy Zippo. This one is Dimple Darling. This one is named Harry," said Brother. Said Papa as they all sat down to dinner. "They are kind of cute," said Mama. The next day, the cubs came to Papa with a proposition. "We won't ask for any more advances on our allowance if you hire us to do chores," said Brother. "And what are you going to do with the money you earn?" asked Papa. "Buy more Beary Bubbies, of course," said Sister. "But you said Herb's hobby shop is out of them and can't get more." "That's right," said Brother, "but Lizzie has 2 of a kind. She's willing to sell 1 for $5. "So does Queenie," said Sister. She wants $7. "Hey," said Papa, "I thought they were just $2.95 at Herb's hobby shop." "That's right," said Sister, "only Herb's all out." Said Papa. "Buying and selling Beary Bubbies is beginning to sound like a pretty good business." "Speaking of business," said Mama, "here's a piece in the paper about a fellow who bought a whole bunch of Beary Bubbies before they became popular. It says here he sold his entire collection for a fortune." "Let me see that," said Papa, snatching the paper. "Papa," said Brother, "what about those chores?" For the next couple of days, Brother and Sister pulled weeds, sorted trash, and they cleaned out cobwebs like there was no tomorrow. Of course, there were more tomorrows. Lots of them. Brother and Sister were beginning to figuring out ways to get more Beary Bubbies. Just listen to this, said Papa, reading from a Beary Bubbies magazine he had found at the supermarket. A rare Beary Buddy was sold in Bearville for hundreds of dollars. Did you hear that? Hundreds of dollars. That's when brother and sister burst in with Beary Buddies they had bought with their tour money. Papa, said brother, we heard a rumor that Toys "Is Us" store is getting in Big Bear City just got a huge shipment of Beary Bubbies. A huge shipment, cried sister. Jump in the car, cried Papa. But Big Bear City's 20 miles away, said Mama, falling out the door. By the time Mama finished her sentence, Papa and the cubs were off in a cloud of dust. Look, a Skyrider, cried sister as they roared along the road to Big Bear City. It says, Beary Bubbies forever, said brother. You better hurry, cried Papa, flooring the gas pedal, or Toys "Is Us" might run out. The rumor about Toys "Is Us" turned out to be true. A huge banner said, we have Beary Bubbies, $5. It looked like a big Beary Bubby party. Only it was more like a big aggravation. The line wound around the store. Babies were crying, and two daddies got into a shoving match about a place in line and that had to be taken away by police. But the cubs got their Beary Bubbies. In fact, they headed home up to their necks with them. But of course, many things aren't forever, and Beary Bubbies certainly weren't. Pretty soon, Beary Bubbies were everywhere. They came in crinkly crumble cereal boxes. You could get them at a gas station with a fill-up. You could get them with a Crazy Me at the Burger Bear. After a while, just about everybody in Bear Country had so many Beary Bubbies they didn't know what to do with them. There wasn't much you could do with them in the first place. You couldn't play dolly with them the way you could a good doll. You couldn't play choo-choo with them the way you could a choo-choo train. You couldn't play baseball with them the way you could with a bat and ball. All you could do was look at them. Except they had a way of looking back at you and making you think about all the money you spent on them. The only thing you could do with them was brag about how many you had. And no matter how many you had, there was always somebody who had more. And what do you suppose that was all about? I really don't know. And thanks. That's the end. Thanks for listening.